Hello and welcome to All Things Ayahuasca. In this channel, we explore all things master plant, ayahuasca, huachuma, and dietas and more. In this monologue, I would like to share an insightful process I've been going through in my own personal life. And I wish to share and express a few things because it was quite a beautiful process, and it's a lovely example for how we could work with the energies of the plants in a non-direct way. And so I'm in the middle of moving house and moving my place. And when you move house, many things are coming up to the surface. And this one came to the surface, as we are questioning why we're doing what we're doing. Our ground, our earth, the root chakra is being shifted, and lots of instability. And while I feel very stable within myself and comfortable within my own body, it is very important to have your own stable home, to host your own family, and for the kids and wife, and to be able to feel comfortable, and one of those basic needs. And a couple of weeks ago, just before bed, I started to work with Grandmother Moon, the tincture that I'm working with and producing, and a couple of drops under the tongue together with Acacia Courtii microdosing. We are working with those two plants just before bed, meditating, having an intention for an insightful night, and it was definitely insightful. And so I dropped fairly on into a very deep state, and I dropped into a dream state, and it was already from the beginning felt slightly different. I was what I describe as already in a ceremonial style energy frequency, working with the plants in what I call a astral sanctuary. And it took me a couple minutes to recognize where I was and how things were slowly unfolding. I will just keep and express that. And so there I was in a dream. I saw a man walking in his ancestral land. And it was very beautiful, beautiful green rolling hills. The man had a curly, wavy hair with a medicine bag across his shoulder. And he was just walking peacefully on the land of his ancestors. That was the feeling. And while he was walking on the land, suddenly he looked up to the sky and he saw missiles crossing and shooting across. And it was starting to get quite terrifying and scary. And the missiles starting to drop on random houses in the nearby towns and different dwellings around the landscape. At this stage, I started to get very panting and deep breaths, and started to get a scary part of the dream. And I kind of like paused the dream, and I was the observer, observing myself dreaming. And as I was doing that, I paused the dream and I thought, oh, okay. So here I am looking at myself in the dream. The man walking on his ancestral land, looking at missiles dropping on a nearby towns. So I'm pausing myself and I'm looking and I'm thinking, okay, so when was the first time that this might have happened to you? And obviously I knew the answer straight away, and I starting to work with guidance with the plants, and the spirits of the plants are guiding me and supporting me in the process. And straight away, I'm arriving to the bedroom of my early childhood, where I was between 7 to 9 years old, in my own parents' home. And there I was, sitting at night after there was a siren goes off, and I had gas mask over my face, and my sister was there, and my parents, and everyone had gas masks. And I remember that time clearly. It was during the time of the Gulf War, in around 1990, 91. And there was a period of time in Israel, my home land, is that we had a major scare event of a major gas attack with cross-continental missiles dropping on in Israel, and everyone had gas masks, and massive sirens goes off every couple days. And as a little young boy, I saw the missile dropping off onto a nearing city, and you could see at night you could see the missiles dropping off, and big flashes and explosions and all these very scary events. And that was the first time when I was remembering and having this very scary time in my life as a young boy, and that I remember. And obviously it was deeply ingrained within my psyche. And as I'm looking at myself in the dream, I see the eyes of my own son, which is 6 years old, and I see the eyes of my daughter, and I'm looking at them, and I see myself in them, and I see the lack of grounding that they received while we are in the process of moving currently. And they are craving to be in a home, but we don't have a home. And so this process of being able to be in a home is starting to be like the major part of the dream. And here I am in the dream, and I see myself as a child, and I see my kids, and then I have this major realization dropping in that being in a house equals not being safe, because since that time I saw many houses being destroyed, and they are not being safe. It's not safe enough to be in a house, because we knew our home, if it's going to be attacked, it's not going to survive the missiles. It was a very massive, major attacks with cross-continental missiles, and it was like really scary. And then I realized that I created this belief system within my psyche that I'm not safe in my own home. And that belief was stayed within my psyche for all these years. Now I'm 43 years old. And throughout the years, in my teenage time as well, until I went to the army at the age of 18, we were ongoing constant threats throughout our early teenage as well. There was major events that consistently enhanced that belief, because we had missiles in different conflicts throughout the years. Although there were like slightly different conflicts, there was a consistent threat of missiles being dropping on our homes. And later on, obviously I went to the military. I've been to the paratroopers, did my own service. I gathered a couple more traumas on top of the traumas. That's what you do in the army. And later on, I kept on traveling, went around the world, and then I came back to Israel after 2 years of traveling around the world and exploring and having this major spiritual awakening. And then there I was again going so-called to protect my home from major missiles attack. So it was consistently compounding on that belief system that being in a home is not safe. And after that, my service in the reserves in the Second Lebanon War in 2006, it was 19 years ago, apparently. And I decided that I cannot stay in Israel and I'll have to leave because I don't want to grow up my kids under a constant threat of missile attack. Little I knew that underneath the layers, I created a belief system that will prevent me to feel comfortable in my own home wherever I go. It doesn't really matter where I was going to and where I was living. I have created this pattern within my psyche that my home is not safe. So I moved to Australia around the age of 26 or 7 or 5 or 6, 2008 it was. And I have literally had to move house every 2 to 3 years. Is the longest time I managed to stay in one place. And to this day, the longest time I stayed in one place was 3 years. And the realization have dropped in another time where I have to move again. This time it was fairly short, and I have started to talk to that little boy again, and I'm seeing flashes of my own boy, and I'm talking to that boy, and which is that part of myself, and I'm explaining him that it's okay, you are safe now. Your home is safe. It's okay. You don't have to hold that belief system anymore. And I kept on going with that phrases. You're safe at your home. You are safe in your own home. Your home is safe. And I kept enhancing that belief system to change that belief system that I know that within myself, because I live in Australia now, and it's one of the most peaceful places on earth, really. And although everything can happen, of course, like every other place, I do believe that my home can be safe now. And so I changed that belief system while I was in the dream by the guidance of the Acacia and ayahuasca. And while I'm in the dream, while I thought I've gone really deep and I'm in a really deep process, suddenly just kept going even deeper and deeper. And slowly I realized that actually that belief system was already there before I came to this world. I actually inherited this belief system of being in a home is not being safe. And there I was looking at my ancestors, and I see the chains of ancestors from my mother line and my father line, and I see them go hundreds of years in the dream. And from both sides, they had to escape, consistent prosecution, and they always slept with one eye open, so-called. They had to keep themselves protected and safe because their environment was always not very supporting of of that community. So everywhere they went, whether it was the Spanish Inquisition, they had to shift from Spain all the way to the Ottoman Empire at the time that took them as refuge. But, the Ottoman Empire was a major Muslim country, and then later on they had like different events that happened there. And the other side came from Northern Africa, from Morocco, and while they had a fairly peaceful life, they had like a major Muslim countries and different event that took place in those places. And before that, they ran away from Babylon, and after the second destruction of the second temple. So it was basically a couple thousand years of constant running away, ancestrally speaking. And they were in a consistent trend of being prosecuted, being massacred, pogroms, and all this, old Jewish history that kept happening. And here I am, looking at the eyes of my own children that already had part of this template already, same as me. And now I'm trying to change that template and create a safe home for my own children, and to break the chains of my ancestral burdens, which are deeply, deeply ingrained within my system, right? Deeply genetic, conditions that we are literally passing them on. And now it's the stage where we are breaking those chains. So here I am, like, removing those chains. And although I've been in many, many, many places, I can tell that within the last 2 years alone, I've been going through a major ancestral healing that is not only related to my own personal life with my own kids. It's also correlated on a collective level of our people and what we have to go through as a collective. And a lot of those things actually happen after the major event that we had on the 7th of October 2023, which created a major shift and shift in awareness for all of the Jews throughout the whole world. It's created a massive collective shift and a massive unity within our people. And we have come closer together collectively throughout the whole world, which is an amazing blessing, really. Now we're just like, because we are pretty much a tribe, right? We are the tribe of Judah, Jewish, Shevet Yehuda. We are coming from the last tribe that was that we know of. Other tribes went under either the disperse or died, or they changed their so-called religion in order to keep themselves safe. So there's a couple speculation who is who, but the tribe of Judah is the last tribe that stayed and kept the tradition alive. And so here we are with a major event, and I'm not going to go into the geopolitical event that happened afterwards, rather controversial somehow, and very, very interesting. And when the more I'm looking at those collective layers and the magical layers and magical collective threads that are weaving together to create this collective consciousness, then I realize that I had that dream the day after we had the last hostages return back home to Israel. So we have a major release of the notion of coming back home to our ancestral land for the people who were kidnapped and were brutalized and tortured for 2 years straight. And then I have that dream the next day later, which was deeply ingrained with the notion of coming back home to where you belong, to your own inner space. And those hostages, they were deeply, deeply due to, the conditions and all the pain and the suffering. The only thing that they held dear in the heart is praying to God, praying to Spirit, that they are believed that they will get protected and they will go back home eventually. Um, so very, very interesting layer, very big energies, how everything is intertwined, from the macro to the micro, from the collective to the personal, how we are able to transcend and shift uh, massive, deeply ingrained energies. And that was thanks to those microdosing tinctures and the energies of the plants that, it was with the guidance of the plant. It wasn't just me and myself. It was the guidance of the plant that helped me to see and process those layers. It was pretty much like being in what you describe a full type ceremony, and um, being supported and guided and being held by the spirit of the plant. And one of the interesting part of sharing these stories, what I'm often talking about is the deeply relating to the plants, deeply relating to how the plants are able to support us in our life. And although, yes, this type of event won't happen every day, of course, to have a major release and a process is something that happen only when it's needed. I had the support of the plants coming to my aid. I can tell you exactly who was there. It was Grandmother Aya, Divine specifically, the Acacia Courtii, and I just finished the Dieta a couple months ago. So the energy of the plant is deeply supporting and guiding me in that process. And as I said, I finished the Dieta a couple months ago, but that was part of my intention as well. And Grandfather Wachuma, which is my other master, my teacher, that interestingly enough, he was supporting me in this journey as well. And, he was showing me and teaching me how to do this work as well, like the different guidance and talking to the inner archetypes within myself that need to be expressed and shared and to heal that part, that little boy that felt threatened. And it's exactly what I do when I work with other people, which is rather hilarious. So, yeah. Uh, and that's it, guys. I think I'll close this monologue here. It's was very. I felt that it's need to come out, and I need to share it with the world. And um, again, the energy of the plants is amazing. The more we are deeply connecting to those energies, there's so many layers and intricacies that can support us in our life all the time. And we don't have to drink all the time, but if we have that, just the energetic connection, the relationship with those spirits, just like friends, teachers, they guiding us and deeply, deeply supporting us in this time. And this is a big time on planet Earth. This is massive. We're going through this major process. Even in the darkest time, in the hardest time, that's where spirit is with us the most. We can see all this upheaval and economic issues, and all our ground is shifting within our underneath us. Geopolitical politics, cultural wars. Everyone have to think and share their opinions everywhere. There's a lot of distortions on the web, lots of anger, lots of frustration. So I choose to bring clarity in this space. I choose to bring a sense of calmness, of down to earthness. So that's my intention. I didn't ask for attention and to look at me and to ask for how special I am and how great I am. I just wanted to bring that notion of let's work together. Let's plow the field together. Let's cultivate. Let's create a new earth. Let's create new culture that is able to process their ancestral healing, that is able to remember who we are under those layers, who we truly are, and how much power we have when we're starting to remember who we are and where we're coming from, because we know where we don't want to be. You know, this is one of the biggest gifts of our ancestors. We remember where we're coming from. We have their support, we have their guidance, and we remember that we want to be in a different place. We remember how we can evolve and grow and expand and creating a greater sense of collective memory as humanity. And the further we go, you know, it's getting even deeper and deeper. And we started to get to the notion of the cosmic wisdom and the cosmic teachings and the star seeds and how we're coming from the stars, our genetics, our genetic memories. And it's truly, truly magnificent and amazing work that we are slowly remembering deeply within our biology. And the more the energy is coming and supporting us in this process, we will be able to create a deeper sense of living, more profound, more daily feelings of what does it mean to be supported by spirit each and every day, hearing the voice, being centered within our heart, focused, creating the clarity. And even though when it's getting hard, we're having the belief, we're having the knowing that we're being supported. So, yeah. Thanks again, guys, for listening to me rambling and talking and sharing. And I wish to inspire you to go ahead in your own lives, to keep on sharing and being good, hearty person, being of service in this powerful, powerful time. And so it is. Thank you so much for joining me today. Much love and blessing to all of you. Thank you.